Philadelphia Phillies travel to Houston to take on the Astros. It's Game 6, and we have our favorite picks on the way. My name's Austin from Calling Our Shot.
And I'm Logan from Calling Our Shot.
And today we have a game pick. We're hoping to cash out. This could be the final video of the MLB season. We're going to hop right into it.
As always, guys, if you've enjoyed our baseball videos all season long, just go do us a favor. Go down and hit that subscribe button. It really helps Austin and I grow this channel. Austin's been killing it in the NBA. We've been making some money as well in the MLB too.
And before we hop into MLB, I know some people will click on this video. Our NBA Best Bets video is going to be postponed until later today. So for all the NBA fiends, I don't need to see all the comments. It's going to be posted later. We don't have any lines in the basketball. So we'll post that a little bit later. You'll definitely have it well in advance of tip-off. But Logan, let's talk about Game 5. It wasn't great for our Phillies, as we're rooting for the Phillies on our long shot ticket. But you know what? I brought out my Cubs jersey. Kyle Schwarber was on this Cubs team that won the World Series. They need a little bit more of that momentum. And I'm excited to dive into our pick today. What are you feeling going into Game 6?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously brink of elimination for the Phillies. Game 5 was a tough one. I had some friends at the game who were like, even though they lost and even though it was depressing, there was still a good amount of Phillies fans that had the faith still and are keeping the hope alive for the Phillies to be able to get a couple games in Houston. That's a tall task, of course, but we'll see what happens today.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it was a tough game for Phillies fans, but it wasn't tough for the people that tailed our bets because Justin Verlander cashes over 5.5 Ks. Then we had our same game parlay on OddsJam with cash as well for plus 215 odds. We'll have another OddsJam SGP. The link will be at the top of the description. Go check out that one. You'll definitely see it. Hopefully we can cash 2 in a row. We've cashed, I believe, 2 of the last 3. So hopefully we can keep cranking those out for you guys. And I think we're guaranteed, regardless of how, if we have a Game 7, we'll guarantee over 50 units on the season. So we hopefully have been making you guys some money. If this is the last one, we'll be back again in April, obviously doing these videos, but this won't be the last to see a Logan, our college football videos and plenty of other content you'll see him in. But Logan, I'm gonna let you tackle our game pick today. It's not biased, I promise, but I like what we got.
It's you know what people are gonna claim it's biased, but I promise it's not. We're going with the Phillies money line versus the Astros. Do or die time for the Fighting Phils. Plus 130 odds on DraftKings is your best value for this one. Yes, we're going with the underdog money line. I see value in the underdog Phillies fighting off elimination today. It really is, obviously do or die for them. They lose, they go home, and hell of a season, but they finish second place, right? That's going to be in their minds. And what's also going to be in their minds is how Framber Valdez carved them up in Game 2, right? Valdez is pitching today as well. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 9 Ks in that Game 2 win for Valdez. So he absolutely had a great performance in that one. Now, even though Valdez carved them up in Game 2, I still think he's hittable. He is a hittable pitcher. He's actually the one, besides McCullers, I'd like to see McCullers today, but besides McCullers, I think Valdez is actually one of the ones that with a little bit of a weakness, and the stats might not necessarily show it, right? The Phillies only got 4 hits versus him, in Game 2. So there's definitely going to be an emphasis on adjustments to put the ball in play, right? How many times in baseball do we see a team face a pitcher? The pitcher absolutely has their number, and then they go back to film. They go back to whatever, adjustments they need to make, and they make those adjustments. I've seen it so much in baseball. And the same goes for pitchers as well. And look at the Phillies. They're hitting 264 this postseason versus lefties. That's actually a really solid average. I think they can definitely get some hits and runs up on Valdez. I've seen Valdez also struggle with command a lot of times. I think, we're giving him a lot of credit for his Game 2 win because his command was absolutely there. But what happens when it's not? Against Seattle, I watched that game. He didn't have his command as well as he wanted it. He was putting it on a few base runners via walk. And that's, I think, the Phillies, blueprint today. They're either going to have to decide, are we going to just attack him? Are we just going to put the ball in play and hope it goes over the fence and get some extra base hits? Or are we going to be patient, hope that his command isn't there and draw some walks? That's for the Phillies to decide today. But I definitely think they can get some hits and runs up on Valdez to give us at least a chance in this one because the bullpen's tough to score on. So it's going to be, first 5 or nothing. If you want to take Phillies first 5 plus a half, I respect that pick as well. But now pitching for the Phillies today, we've got Zach Wheeler, right? Wheeler, 5 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, a 1.8 whip in the Game 2 loss. Yeah, I know those stats are kind of hard to swallow. He absolutely, got pounced on early in that first inning. But you know what? He sort of settled in after that. If you look at how Wheeler was pitching in that one, the Astros make a lot of really good pitchers look bad at sometimes, and he just Early on, they just kept attacking him for the extra base hits. But just like we saw with Justin Verlander, in Game 5, I expect Wheeler, with a pitcher of his caliber, to be able to make adjustments from like game 2 to Game 6 starts. I mean, he's a really good pitcher. He's not a 1.8 WHIP type pitcher. In his 5 postseason starts, his WHIP average is 0.73. Now, for anybody watching this video, maybe doesn't know what WHIP is, that's a walks and hits per inning pitch. It's a ratio. You want that number to be as low as possible. You want it ideally to be, under 1. 1 is an okay WHIP, but 1.8. Flirting with 2 is just not the type of pitcher Wheeler is. So I kind of look at Game 2 as a sort of an anomaly. I know the Astros offense is super talented and can make bad or good pitchers look bad, but I just think Wheeler's going to make the adjustments. I think he's going to hold down that Astros offense enough for the Phillies bats to, make it do or die against Framber Valdez. I think they get to Framber Valdez, and I think they once again fight off elimination and go to Game 7.
Yeah, this series ultimately feels like 7 games is on the way, and I certainly hope so. I think the Phillies at plus 130 is great value. Now, Valdez has pitched well in his last 2 starts, but previously in the World Series last year against the Braves, allowed 5 earned runs in both of his starts. Is he a 0-1 earned run type pitcher? We don't really know. I mean, if he does it, are these last 2 starts against the Yankees and the Phillies more outliers than, what we've seen against him against the Mariners and last year against the Braves? I think they're certainly capable, and a team like the Phillies, they're fighting for their lives here. I think they're going to be trying to manufacture runs, whether it's stealing bases or just bunting, sacrifice fly, all this sort of stuff. They're just trying to get runs on board. And ultimately, I think Wheeler is due a big bounce back. He usually didn't have two straight bad starts in the regular season. I don't see him having a bad start. I mean, you saw him in Game 2. He struggled out of the gate. They pounced on him early. And if they don't pounce on him early in this one, you saw him dialed back in. And if you just get rid of that first inning, he looked really good against the Astros. So I think this is a lower scoring game, but hopefully the Phillies can break open the floodgates and get us to a Game 7. I want to do another video with you, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, sort of unfortunate if the Phillies can't get to Valdez once again. But I just want to remind people of how behind the scenes works. I mean, these very talented hitters just go and analyze, what is this pitcher doing? What can we do to be able to hit him next time? Honestly, I think it's harder for a pitcher to have a good performance once and then in the same series, face that same team again and expect to kind of duplicate that. I think the Phillies will catch Valdez off guard. I mean, you very talented hitters like Bryce Harper are going to go back and look at the tablets and just be like, okay, what are we doing here? He's obviously going to have Hoskins and Schwarber around him too. They're all going to plan for how you attack Framber Valdez. The blueprint's kind of there too, because like you mentioned, Austin, the regular season, Valdez was a good pitcher, but he wasn't a one or shutout type pitcher, like 1 earned run type performance. So I think the Phillies can get to him, make him look human today for sure.
That's all we're asking for. If the books were expecting a no sweat bet winner for the Astros like it was in that Game 2, I don't think that would be only about minus 140, minus 145. But to wrap up this video, Logan, do you have the Nerfy flag next to you?
I do.
We got to do this for old time's sake. We're not playing the Nerfy today, but you best believe we're at least playing the Nerfy. Wave the flags one last time. If this is it, it's been a fun ride, everyone. But Austin, Logan, we're signing out. Hopefully we see you back for Game 7. Cash the Phillies money line, and we'll see you guys back then. I bet we're seeing a Game 7. Let's get to it.